A complete blood count, or CBC, is like a report card for your blood. It tells your doctor about the different cells in your blood and how many of each type you have. This information is very important. It can help your doctor diagnose many different health problems, from anemia to infection. A CBC is often part of a routine checkup. It's a simple blood test that can tell us a lot about your overall health. The CBC measures many different parts of your blood. One important part is your red blood cells. These cells carry oxygen throughout your body. The CBC measures how many red blood cells you have, how big they are, and how much oxygen they are carrying. Another important part of the CBC is the white blood cell count. White blood cells are your body's infection fighters. There are different types of white blood cells, and each type fights infection in a different way. The CBC measures the total number of white blood cells as well as the number of each type. Platelets are another important part of your blood. Platelets help your blood clot. This is important for stopping bleeding when you get a cut. The CBC measures how many platelets you have in your blood. The CBC provides a lot of valuable information about your health. It's a simple test, but it can tell your doctor a lot about how your body is functioning. Let's break down the normal ranges for some key players in your blood. First up, hemoglobin. This protein in red blood cells carries oxygen throughout your body. For men, a normal range is typically between 13.5 to 17.5 grams per deciliter. For women, it's slightly lower, ranging from 12 to 15.5 grams per deciliter. Next, we have hematocrit. This measurement tells you the percentage of red blood cells in your total blood volume. For men, the normal range is around 41 to 50%. For women, it's about 36 to 44%. Now let's talk about red blood cell count. This number reflects the actual number of red blood cells in a specific volume of blood. For men, the normal range typically falls between 4.7 to 6.1 million cells per microliter. For women, it's slightly lower, ranging from 4.2 to 5.4 million cells per microliter. Moving on to white blood cells, they are your immune system's warriors, defending your body against infections. A normal white blood cell count generally falls between 4,000 to 11,000 cells per microliter. Lastly, we have platelets, those tiny but mighty cells that help your blood clot. A healthy platelet count typically falls between 150,000 to 450,000 platelets per microliter. Remember those white blood cells, our infection fighters? They come in different varieties, each with a special role. A differential white blood cell count breaks down the percentages of these different types. First, we have neutrophils, making up the largest proportion of your white blood cells. They are your first line of defense against bacterial infections. A normal range for neutrophils is typically between 40 to 60% of your total white blood cell count. Next, we have lymphocytes, another important type of white blood cell. They play a crucial role in your immune response, helping your body recognize and target specific threats like viruses. A normal range for lymphocytes is usually between 20 to 40% of your total white blood cell count. Monocytes are another type of white blood cell. They act like scavengers, engulfing and destroying bacteria, dead cells, and other debris. A normal range for monocytes is usually between 2 to 8% of your total white blood cell count. Eosinophils are involved in fighting off parasitic infections and allergic reactions. A normal range for eosinophils is typically between 1 to 4% of your total white blood cell count. Lastly, we have basophils, the least common type of white blood cell. They release histamine, a chemical involved in allergic reactions. A normal range for basophils is generally less than 1% of your total white blood cell count. Now let's delve into some specialized measurements called red blood cell indices. These indices provide more insights into the size and hemoglobin content of your red blood cells. First, we have MCV, which stands for mean corpuscular volume. MCV measures the average size of your red blood cells. A normal range for MCV is typically between 80 to 96 femtoliters. Next is MCH, or mean corpuscular hemoglobin. MCH reflects the average amount of hemoglobin inside a single red blood cell. A normal range for MCH is usually between 27 to 33 picograms. Then we have MCHC, which stands for mean corpuscular hemoglobin concentration. This measurement tells you the average concentration of hemoglobin within your red blood cells. A normal range for MCHC is typically between 33.4 to 35.5 grams per deciliter. Finally, we have RDW, or red cell distribution width. RDW measures the variation in size among your red blood cells. A normal range for RDW is usually between 11.5 to 14.5%. Understanding these indices, along with your other CBC values, helps your doctor get a clearer picture of your red blood cell health and identify potential issues like anemia or nutritional deficiencies.